If you are new to Southwest Tennessee Community College, or maybe even if you've been around for a while, you may not know about the greatest thing since sliced bread, which is a website that is southwestregistration.com. It was created and developed over many years by Garry Spencer, one of our retired engineering faculty, faculty emeritus, I believe, and just so deserving of that because it is all the information that you need at your fingertips, and it is just such an essential tool. So I have opened here Chrome. This works in a variety of browsers. I'm at the college's main website, and I'm going to click up here in the address bar, and I'm going to type registration.com. Now, different people remember all kinds of different websites. All I put in there was southwestregistration.com. That's the website I went to. Now, you'll get this pop-up blocks telling you that there's going to be pop-ups, and I encourage you to read that, but I'm going to click on OK. Now, the thing about systems is if you're really new to a system, then you need very simple screens and only maybe 1 or 2 questions per screen. But when you are an experienced power user, you don't want to have to keep going from screen to screen to screen to screen and waiting for things to load. So this screen may look complicated to you to begin with, but once you learn to use it, it makes perfect sense, and you don't want a whole bunch of different screens. Now, there's a lot that you can learn on this screen, but I'm just going to start off with some very quick basics that are going to help you. The first thing you always want to do is look up here at the top so that you can choose the semester. Okay, you can obviously look at the current semester. Anything that's in the system that's been loaded, is out there. So you can go to past semesters, and there's more we can do with that. Right now, I'm interested in the 2020 spring semester. That's the default in this right now. That changes, so keep an eye on that. Now, this is really powerful. There's tons of stuff I can do for a schedule, but I'm going to come down here to the search box, and let's say that I only know that I am looking for a class where the rubric begins with BUSN. So I type BUSN in the search box, and let me make this bigger so that you can see it. And since I've put the beginning of a course number, then I would click the course number button. I get a pop-up, and it tells me all the BUSN courses, and it tells me what the cap is for that course. It tells me how many are currently enrolled, if it's open, the status, if it's closed, the name, if it's first flex, if it's long. It tells me the CRN, which is handy. Gives me the instructor, how many credit hours, the campus it's offered on, the times, Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday only, Monday, whatever, and the room. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread, isn't it? I mean, it's just fantastic. These are all the business courses. Well, maybe I know instead that it's an English course, but I only remember that, or I know I have a student that I'm working with, and it has to be a 2000 level course. Just put as much as you know into that box and click course number, and now here's all my English 2000 level courses, and again, that information. Now, we could do a lot more with that, but I'm going to stop there. If I knew the CRN number, I could type that, click on CRN. If I only know the campus, the building, and the room. So maybe I'm trying to schedule something, and I know that I want to schedule it in the MAB 141 classroom. You type it in like that, and I would click this campus building, and now what I'm seeing is only those classes that are scheduled in that particular classroom. Isn't that handy? Okay, and I can do this for any room. I just need to know the way that we refer to it. And if I don't, sometimes you can look up another class and you'll say, oh, I see how the room is typed. Okay, so so you get an idea on that. If I'm looking up an instructor, you can certainly type in the instructor's last name in this box. I could type in Smith and click instructor, and it would pull up. Now, you do have to be careful. This might be different Smiths as it is here, so you may want to type those additional initials, to have it where it's identified correctly. I can do the title, I can pull up a course description, but let us continue on with the powerful things that this can do. I use the search box a lot. There's many things I can do, but let's go on to the next thing, which is where it says other programs. This is amazing. Okay, first of all, notice that there's historical. I'm going to do this really, really quickly because I want to talk about Room Finder. If I'm interested in the historical, then I can pick multiple semesters. Maybe I want to know, I'm going to pick from spring. I'm going to hold my shift key down, and I don't know, I'm going to go to about, how about 2015 fall. And I'm going to come down here into the course, and I know that I am curious about when BUSN 1300, how often that's been offered. Notice there's other fields that I can fill in just as before. There's all kinds of filters that I can apply. If I don't want to see hybrid, I uncheck that. If I don't want to see flex classes, I would uncheck those. If I only want to see classes that are open, I would check those. So, you can see that kind of thing and perform history search. And broken down by semester, here's all your class information. The one caution that I would give you is that the canceled courses stopped showing up at a certain point. I don't know why. And I would also tell you that these numbers and whether or not they were canceled don't show up, they're not updated after a certain point in the semester. But nevertheless, it gives you a pretty good approximation, which I think is very helpful. Okay, so I'm going to go back. How did I get here? southwestregistration.com, right? Click OK, and I'm back. And we looked at this search box. We looked under historical search, and now I'm going to go to Room Finder. Now, once again, it looks confusing until you are given the overview, and then this is the greatest thing ever, okay? So these are instructions, which I do encourage you to read, but basically I might be looking for a room. I need to hold a meeting in a classroom. I'm going to have a vendor come in and demonstrate a new software application or website or something. So I might have 2 time blocks, and I can schedule 2 separate times if I want to, or I could just look for one. Now I'm just going to look for one because I'm interested in Saturday availability, for example. Okay, the first thing I need to do, it's easy to overlook, is look at the spring, or I'm going to look at this semester, 2020 spring semester. Now, again, this is a drop-down box. If you're not looking at the correct semester, then just make sure that you update that. I may want to look at, maybe I need to schedule this meeting every week for the whole semester, right? So maybe it's just for a couple weeks. I'm going to look for the long term, look at everything. And maybe I'm only looking for Macon campus. I'm going to look at the Macon Academic Building. Should have done that last time, but I didn't. Right now it's set to show all rooms, but maybe I only want to see available rooms, right? And so you notice it says find open rooms, and I could click that. But I have some additional criteria I can set here. I am interested in Saturday, that's the S. Sunday is the U, in the same way that T is for Tuesday and R is for Thursday. I can put in starting times. I am interested in, how about anything from 8 o'clock in the morning, and let's just say until 4, I don't know, we can even say till 4 o'clock p.m. Okay. Okay, so I've got my times in there. Now, I am going to search this, I'm sorry, but before I do, I just wanted to kind of show you the rest of the screen here. Oftentimes, we're looking for a room where we know it's a 3 credit hour class, or we know that it's a 4 credit hour class. And the grid follows certain time frames. So, if you don't remember that you need a 9:10 to 10:40 time slot, that's one of our time slots, and you can list it, you can pick it out of the list. Notice that you have options for Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. So, in other words, what these are is their predefined search criteria, right? Okay, so now that I have all my criteria in there, I'm just kind of looking through. I want to find open rooms. So this is my search button right here, find open rooms. Right? Yeah, there it goes. Okay. And it displays in this little window over here to the side. And for the time I'm looking for, I probably can't fully see this. I'm shrinking, I'm zooming in on my screen. Notice it tells me, now this for example is Macon MAA 101, and it says that it seats 30 people, and there's no student computers in that room. There is one instructor computer. Okay, no, so who owns the room? Okay, well, let's look at this one, MAA 109. This is an EMT lab, so you would not want to schedule something in there. Now, MAA 113 says it has 20 Macs. In other words, this is a Macintosh Classroom, and so this is really owned by the Graphic Arts or GART program, right? So you can kind of see these are there's some natural science classrooms that's on the second floor. So you may want to look down here through some of these other rooms. If instead you wanted to print this, it's an easy thing to do. I'm going to click on print. You may want to, before you come into this, set this to landscape. It's reminding you of that, but I found that it seems to work pretty well. Look, this is just one sheet, and I'm going to save it as a PDF, and when I click on save, it's going to ask me to save this to my hard drive, and then I'll have this nice document that I can email to people. So for the moment I'm going to cancel out of that, but I could certainly do that. Isn't this program the greatest thing since sliced bread? We just cannot give enough thanks to Garry Spencer, who spent many, many years developing, maintaining this, and it just makes life so much easier for so many of us at the college. So we thank him and hope you found this helpful.